On April 15th, the Prescott Outings Club from Arizona headed north to Utah for a week of hiking in Arches National Park. We arrived in Moab late that first day, got settled in our motel, and planned for the next day. First day, we went to the visitor center at Arches National Park, where we got oriented and talked with the rangers. And then our leader, Bob Baker, fearless leader, champion poker player, led us up to the first hike. The first stop was Balanced Rock, which is just a short hike around a rock that's balanced up there and will someday fall down. Then we drove a little farther to the Windows Trail and went up to see the arches that were double. This is the group heading off down the trail to the 3 arches actually, but the main ones were the double arch, double window. We walked all the way around it, and this view is actually from the back. When we finished with that, we went to the double arch and then came down to Park Avenue, which is named that because it resembles walking down a street in Manhattan with high walls on both sides. Very impressive. It makes the hiker feel very small. And then we looked back, and there were the San Juan Mountains, all snow-capped and beautiful. They could be seen from many, many places in the park. On the way home, we stopped and saw some petroglyphs along the road. There's about a half a mile of them, and one rock after another. These are just a couple of the petroglyphs that we saw. The next morning, we woke up and saw the beautiful snow-capped San Juan Mountains from our motel. This is a dinner group. One night we went to different places and different restaurants, but this was a popular one. Day 2 found us at the Fiery Furnace. This is Ranger Steve, who led the group for the whole day, and well, actually for about 4 hours. We headed down the hill, down, into the rocks to see the Fiery Furnace, so called because of all the columns. This was a beautiful semi-dead tree that we saw. The ranger explained that the trees keeps branches going and lets others die. There were lots and lots of narrow places where we had to climb through. After going under a little arch that we were able to walk under, we came to a dead end, and the ranger explained about the wildlife in the potholes. After that, we came back out under the arch and climbed up some more. A lot of climbing. We all helped each other. This was a place where we had to slither along the rock with our hands and knees and feet and not fall into the little notch. The ranger went first and helped everybody as they came down the last little bit of the slithery rock. Then we went to another place where we had to sit down and slide. It was easier that way. Slide down till you got a footing, and step up on the rock on the other side and grab hold of the hand that was there to help you. This was a resting spot where we were able to sit underneath another arch. Then it was time to head out, and after a day of climbing, we all came down the mountain again. Looking back, we saw again the San Juan Mountains. They're just beautiful with the snow on them. April's a good time to go. As we left the Fiery Furnace, we looked out across the Salt Valley to the rest of the other part of the park where we had seen the windows. Third day we went to Delicate Arch. This is the arch that is on the Utah license plate, so it's very famous. There was a lot of slick rock to walk up, so we had to follow the cairns. Here we are heading up the mountain. It's about a 3-mile hike. Looking back at the left-hand side where you see the turquoise color, that's where our cars are parked. These were a group of the girls still coming up. Those who were ahead were taking pictures of us, and we took pictures of them. Around the edge of this little cliff, you come to the destination. As you can see, there's one coming down and one going up, but everybody kind of sticking close to the wall. Then you round the corner and there it is, Delicate Arch. Somebody picked this spot very well because the San Juan Mountains are framed beautifully in the arch. There's a sandstone rim that's about half of the group, in fact more than half, climbed over the edge and walked down so they could get underneath the arch. And this is our Prescott Outings group in the arch. And if you look in the back, you see the San Juan Mountains framed very nicely. After they all took pictures, they came wandering back to rejoin those who had been sitting and waiting and resting. They rested for a while too until everybody came back. Then we put our packs on and headed out. Beautiful thing. We played with the chipmunks there too. This is heading down the mountain. If you look, you'll see people all strung out all along the way. And those are the cairns that we followed. Down at the bottom, there's a little loop you can take to go and see some beautiful petroglyphs. One of our members said he thinks they go in and clean those up every so often. Then we got in our cars and went a little farther down the road and went to the sandstone arch. I don't know if they call it sandstone because you have to wade through sand to get there, because all of the arches are sandstone, but this is the arch. Then we went across the plateau to Broken Arch, and this one you can see the notch in the top, why they call it Broken Arch. On the fourth morning, we went to Devil's Garden Trail, and this is where you find Landscape Arch, one of the more famous ones that you see pictures of. Looking back again, we saw the San Juan Mountains with clouds. We had a lot of clouds, but no rain. Then we walked up and found Landscape Arch. This was our first view of it. As we got closer, you can see that there's a notch in it. They tell you to be sure to see this one in arches if you see no other arch, because this one is probably going to be the next one to collapse. They don't last forever. Many of the arches that were there at the beginning are not there anymore. Then about half of our group, the intrepid ones, hiked up farther on the primitive trail, while the rest of us, who called ourselves dropouts, went down and saw two more arches that were a side trip. That was Pine Tree Arch, and this one is Tunnel Arch. Clouds were beautiful that day. That was our last day for Bill and I, and the rest of the group stayed for another day and did some more hikes outside the park. This is Monument Valley, and then after we went through Monument Valley a little farther down the road, we came to the San Francisco Peaks outside of Flagstaff.